What's going on, Internet? Iron Jordan here. So, today I'm finally bringing you the DBS video that I have been promising for the past three Yu Gi Oh videos, and I hope that it was well worth the wait. This is a deck that I have been working on since it got spoiled, or at least have been theory crafting since it got spoiled. I've played a couple versions of it in paper, and I played a little bit of it online, but this is the version that I have settled on, thanks to Frank Harris for actually suggesting the Bardock engine that we will go through here in just a little bit. But as you can see, this is a future Gohan ape build. The apes are kind of shoehorned in just because they're good blockers, and this deck wants to play a very long game. It wants to play control. Um, in reality, what it wants to do is that it wants to establish the 8-drop Future Trunks card and use it to propel itself to victory, as it is a huge double strike barrier dual attack blocker that restands on your opponent's turn and is just kind of hard to get rid of. So realistically, we're going to be looking at this deck from the scope of a more casual side. I don't think this will be competitive. However, I do think you could maybe take down a locals with this, and I intend to maybe attempt to do that at some point in the future. But first, before we jump into the deck profile proper and why I play the cards that I do, huge shout outs to MetaMonster Gaming, our sponsor of the channel. If you need DBS singles, Yu Gi Oh!, Magic, Pokemon card game singles, you can check them out at the links below, and you can even use my creator code at their TCG Player store, Iron Jordan 5, for 5% off of your purchase. So, moving into the deck proper, why did I want to play Yellow Future Gohan? Well, pretty simply, I am kind of addicted to these horrible yellow gimmicky archetypes. I really love Garlet Jr. I really love a lot of the really bad yellow decks. It's just for some reason, like I love Whis. I love all of the mechanics that they add to the yellow cards. The yellow cards may not be the most competitive at the moment, but they are really fun and very unique to me. So this leader, you can even call him budget starter deck Vegito because he kind of does the same thing on the front, but he does, in my opinion, maybe he plays a little bit more defensively on the back than Vegito does. Talking about blue starter deck Vegito. So what the leader does is that obviously when he attacks, he draws a card. He has an auto burst 3, which I have no idea why this is a burst. I think they wanted to use they wanted to have an excuse to like get the extra card negate that is supposed to be played for this deck. I think it's called the Futures in Your Hands now. I think they wanted an excuse to put that in the graveyard without having to like discard it or something, but it just ends up being a nuisance. Um, Auto Burst 3, one of your yellow battle cards with a blocker skill is KO'd. Draw two cards, then add cards from your life to your hand until you have 6 life left, and flip this card over. Now, this is actually a pretty decent Awakening condition. You essentially get to draw 4 cards if you play a blocker on turn 1 and be on 15k, which is really nice. He has the added Awakening condition of if you're at 4, you can untap 1, draw 1, which is always nice to have the backup plan in case you can't establish a blocker. But I don't. The thing is, I really hate that this leader seems like a much weaker version of Vegito because Vegito doesn't have to go down to 6 to awaken, and he also your blue blocker for Vegito can just leave the field for any reason, right? If I think if it leaves by an opponent's skill, you also get to awaken, which this just feels like a neutered version of Vegito, if I'm being honest. On his bat side, he attacks, he draws a card, and he gains. I'm sorry, he can give one of your Trump's future cards plus 5k power and critical for the turn. That's actually pretty useful, even if you only have like the 3-drop on board. But it's obviously meant to be used with the 8-drop to make it a 3500 critical double strike dual attacker for the turn, which is really nice. Auto choose one of your mono yellow Trump's future cards when your opponent attacks. Switch the chosen card to active mode. It gains 6,000 power. Negate this skill for the turn. This is very good for protecting the 3-drop. It's also very good for just making the 8-drop a really annoying body. But yeah, no, it's just a really fun ability. to build the deck around, to build the Trunks engine around. And speaking of the Trunks engine, we're going to go ahead and talk about it first. So first we have Trunks Warrior of Hope. It's a 1-drop with unique and auto. When one of your yellow Sun Gohan future cards is KO'd by an opponent's attack or removed from your battle area by one of their skills, play up to one yellow Trunks future card with an energy cost of 3 from your deck on top of this card, then shuffle your deck. So unfortunately, we don't have a lot of good yellow future Gohan targets. The best one, in my opinion, is this 2-drop. There are two more. There's one that's already out, and there's one that is coming out in the Namekian pack. I think the Namekian one straight up sucks. I think that the 1-drop has potential. Its restrictions are just a little too rough. You have to crit yourself a life to play a Trunks, which is kind of dumb, and he only gets blocker when you're on 6 life, and so it kind of works counterintuitive to how the deck wants to play because you're losing cards in hand to crit yourself down. Like it's really upsetting because the 1-drop had such potential. If it literally just would have had blocker all the time, it would have been fine. And I think maybe it's still worth playing in some number. That way you have a 1-drop blocker that you can play that will proc this later in the game. But honestly, I have hated it. Every time that I play just 2 of it in the deck, I feel so bad about it. But if you really want to, I guess you can cut 2 Planet Vegeta and put the 1-drop in here. Now, the 2-drop Gohan, what he does, and I wish this card had. I really, really wish that this card had barrier, to give it some kind of protection. But it's a 2-drop that you have to hard play. It has blocker. Auto, if your leader card is a yellow Sun Gohan future card, when this card is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill or activates its blocker skill, play up to 1 yellow Trunks feature card with an energy cost of 1 from your deck, then shuffle your deck. So obviously, the goal here is to slam this on 2 and then activate blocker. It plays the Trunks before it dies, and then the Trunks sees it die, and then you get the 3-drop for what is essentially 2 energy. But the problem is that this card, like, even if your opponent can just remove it, right? And then you get the 1-drop out, but then the 1-drop doesn't get to see a Gohan die, so you don't get into the 3-drop. So that's kind of the inherent problems with this deck. I really wish that we had a Gohan that was literally just like this, but just had like barrier. That way you could always get out the 3-drop in time. And like this card still doesn't have protections. The Trunks doesn't. But I mean, like, if you can make it work, you can make it work. Obviously, your best matchups are against like black decks that don't have like a lot of counter interaction, like don't have any like counterplay interaction, or don't have a lot of it anyway. This is what you're really going for here. But yeah, so talking about the Trunks engine a little bit more, we are playing 4 of Dependable Saiyan Trunks because this is a target. Most often, the way that you get into the 3-drop is to play this 1-drop, search the 3-drop, and then evolve onto the 1-drop the next turn. That's usually how you get to this guy, honestly. But this is honestly just a good card. It looks at top 3, gets a yellow Saiyan, and then you shuffle your deck. So that's another part of the Trunks engine. The 3-drop, very good card. It has barrier blocker. It evolves for 1, and then you can pay 2 if you have 4 or more mono yellow energy, and your leader is this Gohan. Honestly, you can then play the 8-drop on top of it in active mode. Then you cannot activate main skills and copy this card for the turn. This card's just good. It's just very, very good. The top end of the Trunks engine is very impressive. This is a 26k barrier blocker on your opponent's turn whenever your leader activates a skill, and it's just a good card. And then obviously the 8-drop, we've already kind of touched on it. It has double strike barrier, dual attack blocker. It's going to restand on your opponent's turn, and then if it's in rest mode, you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards and one of your energy that are in rest mode, and they don't get switched to active mode until the end of your opponent's next turn. So you just basically keep 2 of your opponent's cards tapped down. This thing doesn't have unique, unlike the 3-drop. I'm sorry, not the 3-drop, the 1-drop. This thing doesn't have unique, so you can establish a bunch of them. I was playing against Hatchiac one time, and I had like 3 of these on board, and it was quite the grinding. We went to like turn 10 almost. But yeah, no, this card is very, very good. It's easily the best card in the deck that's not called Supreme Kai or Power of the Super Saiyan, but it's just a very big threat, and it's very hard to get rid of. So play this card for sure. Moving on, we have a little bit of a Bardock engine. We have the Championship Bardock that they really desperately need to reprint. It's a counterattack, and that's all we're using it for. It's a counterattack 1-drop Bardock. You can then evolve it on top of Bardock Will of Iron, which has blocker and Double Strike, and is a monkey, so it'll get restood by playing Vegeta because we're playing 4 of those to search out our monkeys. We have 4 Grade 8 Bardock Mind of the Resistance. This is the card that we want to open with on turn 1. If we open with this on turn 1, we can stop 2 attacks by comboing out of 1, and then by blocking the other with this card, which will trigger our leader's ability to awaken, and then we're off to the races, right? So this is easily the best turn 1 play in the deck. And then obviously we are playing Gaine or Jean, however you want to say this. I don't know how you pronounce her name. This is just because we're playing so many Bardotts, we want to get more blockers out on the board. And if our opponent opts not to hit us, or if we have this on turn 1, but we don't have a blocker, but we have the Gaine, we can then play the Gaine because we, have a Bardock out. So we can just play her for free, which is really, really nice. Going on to the more utility stuff, we have obviously 1 copy of Further Destruction Champa because why wouldn't you? We have 4 copies of Counterblast Son Gohan. This could really be any super combo that you want, but this is the one that I like because it has removal on it. And then we're playing Supreme Kai of Time. This is just the best generic. This is just the best generic secret rare in the game, in my opinion. It obviously, there are other cards that you could play. You're playing a yellow deck, so you can play Zel Zeno if you want. I think we are playing enough 1-drops for you to play Sen Shinron, the big blocker guy, if you really want to. But this deck does struggle with removal sometimes, so this is probably one of your better bets, in my opinion. Obviously, this could be changed. If you want to cut the budget of this deck, you can play the Sen Shinron, and you're not affecting the efficiency too much. And then finally, we are playing Power of Super Saiyan. This card's just absolutely insane. If you don't have these already, please make sure you get them before they skyrocket. They're 14 right now. And somebody just pinged me on Discord. Excellent. But yeah, no. Please make sure you get these copies if you don't have them. And that's the final card in the deck. So this has been pretty good in casual play. I'm looking to tweak the deck a little bit more and play with it and see if we can make it a little bit more competitive. But for now, this is what it is. I hope that you guys enjoy this list. Let me know if you have any suggestions yourselves. How are you guys playing this deck? I wanted to play monkeys because people like monkeys, and I like monkeys, and the Dragon Ball Super fan base loves monkeys. And so monkeys, hey, ooh, I guess. But all right. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll have more DBS content coming up very, very soon for you guys. I'm working on a couple other things, but I wanted to get this video out because I'm actually going to be out of town for a couple days and I won't be able to make any videos for you guys. But let me know what you guys think. I'll stop wasting your time. See you in the next one.